Hi everyone, this review is going to compare the Greenworks 40 volt rechargeable lithium ion trimmer to a standard troy-bilt 4-cycle curved shaft trimmer. We're going to show the kind of the pluses and minuses of both, and then spend a little bit more time on the Greenworks here to see how it actually operates and see if this is maybe the right trimmer for you in your yard. Okay, the first thing to talk about is that the Greenworks comes with a 40 volt lithium ion battery. As shipped, if you buy one that has a battery included, and make sure that you pay attention, because some are sold as just bare tool units. But the lithium ion battery here takes about 3 hours to charge. It plugs in directly into the unit, and it weighs about the same weight as a brick. The beauty of it, it has plenty of power, as you'll see. It doesn't have a memory to it, and it really is a good thing. And you can actually trade it among different Greenworks tools. So you can use it for a hedge clipper, you can use it for a blower, and even a lawnmower. But here we're going to talk about the trimmer edger. It just slides in, and you're ready to go. Okay, when you're comparing it to a standard 4-cycle trimmer, one of the things that's important is the weight. The Greenworks is a little bit lighter, maybe 10-20% lighter. But the main difference is that in a 4-cycle, all your weight's here in the motor. That's where all the weight's at. So it's kind of heavy, and it makes it a bit awkward. So anyone who's edged knows that a lot of times you have some sort of a sling device that helps you hold it. With the Greenworks, oddly enough, most of the weight's there in the head. So what that does is it kind of keeps your momentum down low, and it keeps it kind of focused. The next advantage is that when you want to start, you use the trigger and the lock, and you go. No starting, nothing else. And when you're done with one location, you let off the trigger and you go to the next spot. So there's none of the challenges with the 4-cycle. These things have plenty of power, but they're known to be difficult to start. And a 2-cycle is even worse. It's much more difficult to start. The other advantage is, and this to me is a pretty significant advantage, is that when you go to edge with the Greenworks, there's none of the vibration that you get with a standard 4-cycle motor or 2-cycle motor. That's one of the challenges I've always had. I have about an acre of land, and when I'm done edging, my fingers tingle really because of all the vibration and all of the feedback you get from it. With this 2-cycle or with the Greenworks, it really does reduce that. For one, you don't get as much vibrations to begin with, but the second point is when you go from location to location, you turn it off and you don't have to keep on running the motor. So from a fatigue standpoint, it's a lot better. Okay, so far we focused on a lot of the positives about the Greenworks trimmer. Now for a couple things that aren't quite as positive. First is the spool itself. So you can see right here, you've got the wire, or the cord coming out of it. It can be advanced two ways. One, manually by pushing the trigger and pulling on the wire, or on the cord. And second, by actually pulling the trigger up there. If you kind of throttle it with your finger, you have it'll come out until it actually overextends and then pulls out here. That doesn't work perfectly. It works okay, but it doesn't work every time. Others have suggested about using a thinner cord, which will help you, but then again, your cord life will go down as well. So that's one kind of negative. The bigger negative for me is that you actually have to use this. You can't replace it with a Shakespeare 4-line plug-in like this right here that I use on my standard trimmer, which is kind of disappointing because 1-line trimmers do okay, but I honestly prefer the 4. So that is one of the reasons why I do have a negative. The advancing mechanism is just so-so, and second, I would like to have the ability to replace the spool. Another thing that is, it'll take getting used to, maybe not a real big negative, is that the guard itself is actually really big. And as you'll see here in a minute, that actually limits the area that you can stick this trimmer into in order to get into kind of tighter spots. It does offer more safety, of course, which is definitely a big plus, but it does limit some of the areas where you can trim in. One of the really innovative things about the Greenworks is the fact that the head actually rotates. So you can You can rotate that way, another push of the button, and it will rotate around. So what this does is it gives you the ability to be a weed whacker or even an edger, and we'll see that in a minute. You can see the little wheel that's located right there that'll let you actually use this as an edger for your yard. So that's one thing that my old troy-bilt 4-cycle will never do, is be used as an edger. So that is a nice piece of functionality. Okay, as I showed, that you can just do a quick twist, and using the wheel that's down here, you can turn your trimmer into an edger. So that is something that a normal weed whacker can't do. Okay, here's an example of where it's kind of tough to use. Again, you've got the head, and you want to get into the rock, and it's just a bit of a challenge to get in. So again, the bigger guard here definitely has some advantages in helping to keep things out of your face and from being thrown up, so it's a safety plus. But when you're trying to get into smaller, tighter spots in order to trim, it does become a bit of a detriment. So if you're not that big of a negative, but again, something to keep in mind. Okay, final verdict on the Greenworks 40 volt 4 amp rechargeable trimmer. I'm going to give it a really 4 stars. It's really close to a 5-star review. The large guard really isn't that big of a negative, something that you'll get used to. The advancing of by pushing the button here, so that you actually have to stop every time you want to do it, it is a big of a negative. The fact that you can't replace this head is probably the reason why, it is the reason why I'm dropping 1 star. However, that being the one negative, the fact that it's a 40 volt lithium ion trimmer that has lots of power, can double as an edger with that, as we've shown, is really fantastic. I mean, there's a lot to like about it. It's a lot less fatigue on your hands. It's a lot quieter. If you're environmentally conscious, it's less of an environmental impact in terms of both 2- and 4-cycle small engines aren't the best, cleanest burning things in the world. This adjustable head is again another nice feature. It's easy to put together. It took me a couple minutes. Lots and lots to like about it. It really does make your trimming job a little easier. Again, not excited about the head, but everything else. If it wasn't for that, this would be a 5-star trimmer. Another thing I should mention before I get off is that the battery here can be used with a variety of Greenworks products. So this 40 volt battery, when you're done, can be put into a lawnmower, or it can be put into a hedge clippers, or even a blower. So the batteries have functionality across different product lines, which again is something that's really nice about it. So the Greenworks 40 volt trimmer, 4 stars.